Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stump, back for another OPTC video, and in today's video we're talking 10-star KIZUNA against Monkey D. GARP, and we're going to be breaking down all the variations and showcasing some teams to help you guys get your 10-star events done. Now, I just want to make a disclaimer, this is not a super boss video. Not a super boss video, this is a video based on the 10-star event. As you can see on the screen right here, this is the infographic that OPTC Twitter did release. Now, shout out to those guys. I'll leave a link in the description below. And like I said, I do have two teams for you guys to take down each particular variation. And I have a one team versus all for you guys as well. Now, this particular KIZUNA is going to be sweaty. It's going to be a sweaty one with the World Cruise event. A lot of people are going to be going for crazy individual ranks. And obviously, being a super boss means a lot of people will be spending a lot of their potions. So, best of luck. These teams should help you guys out if you guys didn't summon on the ASL batch, if you guys didn't summon on the KIZUNA banner, which you guys rightfully shouldn't have. Plus, there's a lot of characters I've put in one team that haven't been available, or have been available a lot of times and for a very long time. And then in the second team, it's more like a big damage team, which we're going to give a shout out to Shiro in my alliance for actually putting the teams together. So, starting off, we are going in against the Int variation. Fighter, Free Spirit, Strikers get cooldowns, Despair 8 turns, and Special Wind 2 turns on stage 2. Very annoying shenanigans on stage 2, by the way. Just be prepared for that. Basically, 5 turns of Despair after sockets. On the final stage as Immunity, you get random slots. Psi are treated as just a stable orb, so they only a 1.0 booster, because if you bring Psi characters and you get matching orbs, being Psi, you are going to lose damage there if you don't bring like 1 or something like that. Damage reduction over a certain amount, so threshold and defense up for 5 turns. And after level 30, it becomes 6 turns with hunger. So just be mindful of that. So let's take a look at the first team. This here is called the Buildable team, I'm going to call it. This particular team utilizes a lot of characters that have been around for a little while. So Roger is our captain. He can remove Despair. All these teams use Markano as a friend captain, so just be mindful of that. Markano is going to remove the defense up on the final stage. We have Kinemon Denjiro for our orb booster, as well as the Riser support to get around Special One on stage 2. To get around the Psi Orb mechanic, we have Shiroshi Mancherry. They are going to give us a full water Rainbow Orbs and now be our Chain Booster. To get around Threshold, we have the KIZUNA Shanks, the free-to-play character. He's a Chain Boundary unit, as well as base stats with Bond Clay. So pretty simple stuff here. Nothing too out of the ordinary with what's going on. We have a Super Type with Roger, which is a lot of fun. And then with Markano, we have a Color Affinity. Remember, Markano, she's a much better captain for Free Spirits and Strikers. Plus, she gives you recovery orbs as well, so you could technically use that instead of Shiroshi and Mancherry. She turns all type slots into recovery slots, which is obviously going to be beneficial as well. So you don't really need Shiroshi and Mancherry here, but it's another option for you guys. Plus, if you guys can't find a Markano friend captain, you could easily bring another character that could just remove some defense up there. Kinemon Dendro can actually remove defense up on the final stage as well. So, literally, if you just put another Roger, this team will definitely work. But Markano is going to give you a lot more points, so that's always fun. Obviously, very, very good character for this fight will be Nami as well. Now, this is Shiro's team that he put together. Hopefully, it might help you guys out if you guys have a little bit more options in your box. Not everything is, like, super required, but it definitely does help. So, Nami is our captain. She can give us a base stat and a chain boost, a conditional boost, a super tandem. Like, she's doing a lot for this particular team. With the chopper support, you get to a very low HP threshold, which then activates Odin, and he's 95% damage reduction. That works exceptionally well with Yamato. Queen is not essential on this team at all. I know he's just got Queen there for extra damage. Sanji can be a chain boundary unit, as well as with the Vivi support, remove 2 turns of threshold, and then with Nami's super class, you can remove more threshold. Or boost with Kinemon Dendro resilience there. So this team should work incredibly well. So big shout out to Shiro for that one. Sanji also triggers the super tandem with Nami too, so that's a lot of fun too there. Color affinity with Markano doesn't matter too much, but we're going to use Markano on turn 2 to get around the Despair there. So once again, big shout out to Shiro. Really, really nice team, and hopefully it helps you guys out that have a lot of options in your box. Going back to the infograph now, we can take a look at the 10-star strength variation. And on this fight, Dex, Quick, and Psi characters get cooldowns on stage 2. There's 5 turns of defense up and 2 turns of attack down. On the final boss fight, there is immunity, a unfavorable slot change. There's also bind on your left column for 8 turns, so we should go down to 5. Then there's 5 turns of despair after sockets. There's also 1 extra turn of bind and 5 turns of resilience after level 30. So a lot of stuff you have to get around. Make sure to have your sockets maxed out. But the buildable team I did put together is led by Smoker. Yeah, you guys heard that right. Smoker in 2023. It's wild times we're living in. But Smoker as a captain, he is a striker. So he does get boosted under Markino as a friend captain. So that works incredibly nicely. And then the free-to-play Uta basically just covers you for stage 2. Like, you pop an Uta special on stage 2, she sets defense to 0 and removes 2 turns of attack down. Works exceptionally well. Plus, then you can use her again on the final stage. We then have Sobermas. Sobermas with the Nami support can remove 2 turns of bind, can remove 2 turns of despair. And then with Uta again, you can remove another 2 turns of bind and despair. So that's already 4 turns. And then with Corazon on Kid Law, we can get some more bind and despair removal there. So that's like 6 turns for the final stage. Double special with Sobermask will give you a full board of tandem slots as well as a 2.5 times attack. Then you can use Smoker to give yourself an orb boost. You have a chain boost with Uta. You have chain boundary and that tap shenanigan with Kid Law. You have color affinity with Markino. And then with Bond Clay, once again, you can actually turn him into a quick striker unit. And that way you guys can get base stats. The Bond Clay, though, if you don't have Bond Clay, I totally understand. Just replace him with literally anyone. Like, you'll be fine. You can use, like, Legend Boa, the quick Boa for base stats. Like, there's a lot of options there. If you guys don't have Uta, though, you might struggle a little bit for stage 2. But another really good character is something like Carrot Wanda. Then you can use, like, the Pedro support. But you could also do some funky shenanigans with, like, Smoker on turn 1 to avoid the attack down. But then you have to be worried about sort of like the defense on stage 2. Then you could use Markino, bring someone else to the defense. But this team, it should work. Hopefully you guys have that free-to-play Uta. Honestly, hopefully they bring this free-to-play Uta back. Because, like, this Uta is so good. And if you guys weren't playing around the Film Red celebration, like, I really hope they bring her back for you guys someday. As for the next team, again, once again, shout out to Shiro. We did put Uta on this team. But as I was saying, if you have Carrot Wanda with that even more exclusive Pedro support, you can use that. But led by Red Rock Luffy, he's probably the most optimal character if you guys don't have any of the ASL batch. He's going to be your attack booster, and he gives you a chain boost as well with his super type. You have Law for super tandem, as well as what's it called? He gets a super tandem. He's your super tandem, and he's your orb booster for the team. However, you do need to try and find a tandem orb, or a way to get a tandem orb on this particular team, which I don't think Shiro's taken into consideration now that I'm recording this video. But I'm sure there's probably a support that you could probably put on. Because you're using Uta twice, actually, you can remove the Corazon support and actually put Beppo, and then the Beppo is going to give you a tandem orb. That'll definitely work better. Because you just don't need that Corazon support if you're using the double special of Uta. You have the Raizo support for an extra turn of bind and end of turn damage for the resilience on the final stage, which is very, very handy. Did I actually have... Yeah, the end of turn damage kid there is going to actually do that. Awesome. So Raizo is going to remove the resilience. Again, Markino is going to be used on stage 2, if I believe correctly, to remove the defense up. And then Sop is just like an extra conditional. It's conditional boost. Brooks giving like a whole bunch of shenanigans there. And as you can see, like, this team is going to do absolute bits and doesn't actually use the new characters. Moving on to the final variation now. The 10-star Dex Fighter Free Spirit Cerebrals get cooldowns. Huge L that they didn't add Striker here and then move Cerebral over to verse Int. Like, it's just like characters like Kaido, Nami, who else? Like, when they like release a really disgustingly broken character, they always find a way to just like nerf them so drastically. Katakuri, V2 Dofi back in the day. Stage 2, 5 turns of resilience, 2 turns of damage reduction. On the final fight, there's 99 turns of immunity, bomb slots. Middle row gets 5 turns of bind, damage reduction over a certain amount, so threshold for 5 turns. Then after level 30, you get an extra turn of threshold, an extra turn of bind, and then 5 turns of despair on the final stage as well. So a lot of very, 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 very annoying shenanigans popping off right there. But buildable team is led by Odin. Unfortunately, I couldn't really get away to like get a whole bunch of Wano orbs here. But we should be okay with this particular setup. So to get around the threshold, we are using KIZUNA Shanks once again. He's so good. Like, he's so good. Showing his worth, giving a chain boundary, which is great. The Riser support is awesome to remove the extra turn of binds. But on stage 2, you have to get around damage reduction and resilience. It's very annoying, this fight. But the Beppo support on Law gets around damage reduction, and then Law himself can actually remove resilience. We are going to pop the Straw Hat Crew special on stage 2, though. So that way you get a full board of rainbow orbs. That's going to be really, really cool. We're not going to be able to lock them, unfortunately. You definitely can lock them if you want to, but I would actually not recommend it, because you do want to try and remove the orbs on your Odin and on your Makino. If you can tap twice and remove those orbs, you are going to be able to get 1 orbs on the final stage thanks to Odin's super type. So that's the plan here. Let me know if you guys end up using this team and it does actually work that way. But Straw Hat Crew, they have a final tap. That's a big reason they're here. Kawamatsu from the K-Dad batch, he can remove Bind, as well as being an attack booster for the squad, and then Odin's your orb booster, plus then base stats, and then you get color affinity from Makino. Makino is going to remove the Despair on the final stage as well, so don't stress about that. As with Shiro's big damage team, this one here is led by the waifus. Their super type actually removes Bind, which is super, super handy. Ace Yamato and their switch can get around the resilience on turn 2. Super cheeky there by giving the burn mechanic. Kinemon is here for some threshold. You have the attack of Ace Yamato. You have the orbs of Odin, and then you turn them into Wano slots. You have color affinity with the waifus. You can remove the Despair with what's her name, Makino, and then you can use Bond Clay for base stats and a chain boost thanks to Mr. One. So this team should work very, very nicely. Hopefully it gives you guys some ideas if you guys have a more established box. But like I said, you do have your buildable teams. You do have your bigger damage teams there. So looking at everything that these 10-star events does, there are some fairly annoying shenanigans. Like, there is a lot going on. However, building a one-team versus all actually was quite challenging to begin with because of Stage 2. There's just so much stuff going on Stage 2. However, it's definitely doable. So led by Nami, once again, my girl shines. She's just been so good since her release. Her and, like, Super Tandem Shanks have just seen so much play when it comes to KIZUNA since their releases, especially, like, Super Boss when it comes to Shanks. But Nami, as the leader, she can remove Threshold with her super type, which is super handy. And then with the support of Chopper, you can remove 2 other turns. You can use the VV support here as well. If you guys don't have this Chopper, you could easily use the support Rare Recruit VV. Definitely an option for you there. But then Yamato can give you Wano slots on the left-hand side, and Tandem Orbs on the right-hand side, so you get around all of the annoying, all of the annoying orb shenanigans. Ace Sabo is an interesting one because you can use them on turn 2 of the Int variation to remove the Despair and the Special Bind. And then on the Strength and Dex variation, they actually remove the Bind and the Despair. Super nice there. Plus the Jozu support gets around 2 turns of attack down. So super cheeky, super handy. Luffy is then going to give them a 3-turn orb buff. And this Luffy is purely used only for the Rayleigh support and the fact that he sets defense to 0. The reason you want to set defense to 0 is on stage 2 of the Strength variation to just get around that defense up. You might be able to attack through it, but like, I'm not 100% sure. Finally, because our captain is a striker, we are using Kid and Law. They are going to give us end of turn damage to help with stuff like resilience, plus they end up giving us the chain boundary and stuff because our captain is a striker. And as long as you tap with a Cerebral or a striker unit, you will be doing more damage. So you can tap with Luffy first, then with Yamato, and then Nami, and you'll activate her Super Tandem, which is super, super nice. And then you have a friend Captain Makino as well. Beppo, Sachi, Penguin, they remove damage reduction as well. And Queen, literally just here for more damage. There's probably a support that you can use over the Queen on Yamato. Actually, now I'm thinking about it, I don't think there is. But if you can... Oh, yeah, there is. Mr. 3, actually. Mr. 3 would actually give you way more damage here. Because Mr. 3 will actually give you a damage reduction or a damage reduction buff to give you 50% more damage with the Yamato buff as well. So I'm actually thinking like that's going to be way more. So, like I said, 10-star event does seem a little bit annoying, but hopefully these teams help you guys out. Remember, there's like a more buildable or accessible team for you guys if you guys are missing some of the newer characters. All of these teams don't use ASL. And once again, shout out to Shiro. Hopefully his teams give you guys some ideas for some big damage. As KIZUNA goes on, I will release some like big damage teams for some high assists. And if you guys want some Marco teams as well, I will be like dropping a second video with Marco and like a Jack 1 team versus all. But I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to go down there and belt the like button for me. If you are new to the channel or you haven't done so already, hit that big red subscribe button. Best of luck in KIZUNA. Hopefully you guys Alliance does well in the Super Boss. And if you are going for personal ranking, best of luck there. Most importantly though, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, I thank you for watching and I will catch you all in the next one. Late!